Alright, hello everybody. Friendly Red here, and welcome to News Peruse. Sony just held their latest State of Play presentation, which had been rumored to be coming sometime this month, alongside the reveal of the PlayStation 5 Professional, which we got a few weeks back. Normally, State of Play presentations don't do a lot for me, but I'm pleased to say that this time, they had a pretty good show, and there was enough that I thought looked cool or interesting that warranted a discussion. So, here we are. So, with that preamble out of the way, let's dive into this latest State of Play. You know, I didn't think you could perfect perfection, but Team Asobi is here at the start of the presentation to let us know that you indeed can, and they'll be doing just that with the upcoming fall update for Astro Bot. You've probably heard it all over by now, and for damn good reason, but Astro Bot is easily one of the best and most fun games of the whole year, and an easy contender for Game of the Year for myself and many others. If you have a PS5 and don't own this game, you need to fix that ASAP. There's already a great amount of fun to be had in the base game, but this upcoming free update will be adding even more Astro-themed goodness into the package, with some new levels to tackle, and alongside said levels, more bots to rescue. They didn't show them all here as to not spoil the surprise, but we did see an Eve bot, hailing from Stellar Blade from earlier this year, and a Helldiver bot from... take a guess. Great to see more love being put into this already lovely game, and I cannot wait to get back into it. And yes, I will reiterate the point here. If you've yet to purchase a copy of Astro Bot on your 5th PlayStation console, then please go and fix that problem at your earliest convenience. Next to discuss is a game that, visually, looks really cool, even if I don't really know exactly what to expect gameplay-wise. The game in question is known as The Midnight Walk. Described as a dark fantasy adventure in the info section for the reveal video, The Midnight Walk is very eye-catching, no doubt. It's doubly cool that it can be played normally and in VR using the PSVR 2, though, other than that, I gotta be honest, I'm struggling with more to say on this game, at least for the time. Hopefully we'll get some more in-depth gameplay or commentary on the game soon, as to get a better grasp as to how it'll all work. But for now, all I can really say is that I'm very interested, and I want to see more. Now, this next game is one that I was initially not going to look into, but I'm glad that I did in the end, as this trailer alone was quite special and appealed to me greatly. Lunar Remastered Collection is its name, and as it would suggest, it's a collection of 2 remastered games that originally released on the PlayStation. I caught glimpses of the game during the broadcast while it was airing, and I thought it looked fine, but it didn't really do anything for me. However, after sitting down and queuing up the trailer, my thoughts shifted greatly into... oh wait, damn, this is actually really cool, as my ears were greeted to this lovely melody.
In your dreams, magical thoughts, all things are real unless you dream they're not. In your dreams, love is the plot, carried on wings of hope.
And if that wasn't enough, it was later shown in the trailer that these games feature some gorgeous animated scenes within them. And I don't know why, but I have such a soft spot for older style animation like this. I'm sure it looked great in its original form, but it's looking even better here cleaned up for this remaster. And yeah, I think with the combination of lovely music, gorgeous animation, and fun-looking traditional turn-based JRPG gameplay, this is one I'll be looking into. I'm very happy for all the longtime Lunar series fans to be getting this, and, at least from what I've seen here, it's very likely that counter will be going up by 1 next spring. And, hey, why not? It'll require us to skip ahead a bit in the presentation, but... on the topic of longtime fans getting something nice for an anniversary, we also saw the announcement of the Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered Collection here in the State of Play. Kind of. If we want to be really technical about it, this collection was actually leaked ahead of the presentation, but was obviously planned to debut here. On one hand, it kinda sucks it leaked, as it would have made for an even bigger surprise, especially for the series fans, but regardless of all that, I'm very happy this is happening. Much like Lunar, I've never had the chance to play the games that comprise the Legacy of Kain series, though unlike Lunar, it is a series I've known of at the very least, and one that I would very much like to get acquainted with. And thankfully, I'll finally be able to do that very soon, and in an official capacity, no less. Sure, if I really wanted to, I could have just emulated the games, or played the old PC versions of them that are scattered around on Steam and GOG, but I'd much prefer going the official, remastered route here. As for the games themselves, I actually don't really know a whole lot, aside from them being well-beloved and renowned dark fantasy action-adventure games. And considering I've been in the dark about them for this long, but have still had an interest in them though, I think it'll be okay. And I think I'll keep up my general ignorance on them for another 2-ish months or so, and go into these games blind, as to keep the experience as pure and new as possible, I guess. I said before that we had to jump ahead a bit to talk about the Soul Reaver collection, though really, the two things I wanted to discuss that we skipped over are pretty small, so we can get them out of the way real quick here. Firstly, we got a release date for the console versions of Fantasia Neo Dimension, that being December 5th of this year. I've talked about this game before on my channel, specifically in my video going over the summer Nintendo Direct highlights. TLDW, this is a new fantasy JRPG created by some absolute titans of the genre, namely the creator of the Final Fantasy series, Hironobu Sakaguchi, and legendary composer Nobuo Uematsu. Pretty easy summary here. If you like JRPGs, check out this game once it releases in December. I know I will be. Secondly? I don't know, but the other small point to mention here is that we got a brief teaser for the second DLC for Alan Wake 2, titled The Lake House. Not much else to add to that, other than it's coming sometime in October. Quite a fitting time to release, I'd say, given the spooky nature and story of the game, and I'll be ready for it when that release comes. Moving on from that, we saw a new trailer for the new Dynasty Warrior game, Origins, alongside its release date reveal being January 17th of next year. Now, personally, I've never really been all too interested in the mainline Dynasty Warrior games, as most, if not all, my admiration for the series comes from the numerous collaborations with other franchises. You know, stuff like Persona 5 Strikers, Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, and so on. With that being said, I gotta say, this new game is actually looking pretty appealing to me, though I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because I've played so many of those collab games over the years, or maybe it's due to this game's new style compared to older entries. Again, I can't quite nail down exactly why this new game is appealing to me, and it may not be something I immediately pick up upon its release, but I'm for sure interested in it. And that's the first time I can say that with regards to any of the main series Dynasty Warrior games, so that's gotta count for something. Maybe. Okay, so they did show a new trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds here, but honestly, all I really took away from it was the release date, being February 28th of next year. I didn't watch the whole trailer. I don't need to or really want to see anything else, honestly. It's a new Monster Hunter game. I was sold the moment this game was announced. Hell, I was sold on it before it was announced. I'm a simple man. I see a Monster Hunter game, I grab the debit card. Before we get to our big closing reveal, we have one other small thing to discuss, and that is the update and DLC plans for Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade was my pick for Game of April this year, back in my Best of 2024 so far video, and I'm glad to see it's going to be getting some more love and support from the devs. Though in all honesty, there wasn't a ton to go off here, as the announcements for the game shown were rather minute, minus the last one. Aside from getting a photo mode added to the game, and the announcement that the game's OST will be available on streaming platforms today, which I'm actually very excited for personally, the big piece of news here for Stellar Blade is that it will be receiving a crossover DLC/expansion thing with Nier Automata. Again, sadly, there's not a whole lot to go off here, but you'd better believe I'm all in for some Stellar Blade DLC, especially if said DLC contains content from Nier Automata, as much like Stellar Blade, it's one of my favorite character action games, and favorite games in general. Okay, here it is, folks. The big one. Closing out the September 2024 State of Play, we had the reveal of developer Sucker Punch's latest project, Ghost of Yotei, the sequel to their open-world samurai masterpiece, Ghost of Tsushima. And really, similar to Monster Hunter Wilds, that's all I need to be sold on this one. More Ghost of Tsushima? Yes, please. Sign me the hell up. The trailer had a nice mix of cinematics and gameplay, and I'm sure lots of info and secrets will be picked apart from it over the next few days, but from what I gathered, we've got a pretty significant time period jump going from the original game, a new protagonist whose name is Atsu, and a new setting that is very, very far away from the island of Tsushima, as Tsushima is here, and Mount Yotei, of which the game is named after, is here. So yeah, heading quite a ways north for this one, but that should help make for a more geographically distinct journey and adventure here in this sequel, and I can't wait to see more. It's due out sometime next year in 2025, and I eagerly await any and all news, trailers, and whatever else Sucker Punch and Sony have in store for us. Man, I really need to get back to my replay of the original game in the director's cut, huh? And yeah, that's a wrap on this most recent State of Play. Quite a great way to end the show, and while Ghost of Yotei was no doubt many people's highlight, I think there were still a lot of other great things to like and get excited about too. Some cool new updates to great already released titles like Astro Bot and Stellar Blade, some fan favorite series returning in the form of the Lunar Remastered Collection and Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered Collection, and of course some really cool, stylish, and fun wholly new games like the Midnight Walk, Dynasty Warrior Origins, Hell Is Us, and more. All in all, I'm quite pleased with this state of play, and I'm looking forward to a good few number of the things shown here, especially those Soul Reaver games, Astro Bot levels, and of course Ghost of Yotei. You did good, Sony. Good luck with those PS5 Pro and 30th anniversary pre-orders later this week, though. Your site's gonna need it. Well then, with all that being said, I think that'll do it for this video. If you made it to the end, I thank you for watching. Your continued viewership and support is greatly appreciated. Hope you found any or all of this lovely talk about video games to be informative and entertaining, and as always, I'll see you next time.